Hello and welcome to the long-awaited and long-delayed tutorial-ish of Infinite N95 version 4. Now, I want to preface this with the idea that anything beyond the original Infinite N95 is mostly conceptual, and it's meant to be open source, so these methods can be accomplished in multiple different iterations and configurations and different styles. I almost had it all in one take, but I totally forgot one of the most important aspects of this concept, which is the original iteration. This is something I built for my Uncle Johnny, who has experienced some health issues in recent years. And so I got him this thing off the internet thanks to stupid Facebook ads, and I adapted it to a different type of snorkel mask to give him full protection. This is meant to give a sort of PAPR type functionality. So air enters, or this, let me see, where's the button here? It's been a while. Air is pulled by battery through this, which has a built-in little HEPA filter there. Then it goes through this long, like, rubbery tubing into this input in the mask, and the other input is covered with our familiar Infinite N95 setup. So now the air is going in through here, filtering, getting pushed through this tube, in through here, and into the mask. So it results in this fan right here is actually kind of weak. And for the price you pay for the unit, it's really kind of lackluster, which is why I decided to come up with the Infinite N95 version 4. It'll still serve its purpose, but I figured I could do it better and cheaper in a way, so I came up with that. It still results in a really good breathing experience, as well as a reduced chance of fogging. So you still get a nice little breeze on your hand here. And that's it. Alright, back to the original video. Sorry for the edit. Which is why this snorkel mask has been the basis of all the modular concepts so far. And you'll notice that there's actually a semi-permanent connection here, which I'm not sure I'm going to separate for this tutorial. I think I might just explain what I did here to show you guys how I did it. And as I said, this can be done multiple different ways. The main idea behind this is that it is supposed to give you the effect of a PAPR, positive air pressure respirator. What does that mean? It means that all the air which enters through here, as all of the previous tutorials show, all of the air is controlled by, well, in general, with the Infinite N95, in any version, the air coming through the nozzle is controlled by you. You put whatever filter you want on there, whatever, disinfecting mechanism, but this one actually will force the air into the nozzle for you. So in general, my thoughts on PAPR is that unless you have a health condition that makes it hard to pull air in, or if you're going to be wearing this for an extended period of time, in my opinion, it's not really that safe to pull in more air into the mask than you would normally take in when you breathe, when you inhale. But this does have certain uses, which you might have seen in the previous video, the kind of silly video I did about the Among Us skit. I was wearing a big old costume, and having to pull air from inside that costume, because the costume itself was drawing in unfiltered ambient air, would have been a bad idea to begin with, and also because the restriction of air coming into the costume in general would make it a little bit hotter and heavier to breathe with just a normal infant N95 connection. So this allows you to filter the air that comes through the mask. The air goes through here, it filters through the filter material, it goes through the piping, and in through here where I feel a nice breeze on my fingers. Okay, so let me just kind of go over how it's done. This is how I figured it out after a while, after lots of testing, obviously. But you'll notice that it's not modular anymore because it's kind of permanent. Well, you can still, well, the reason why I have it like this is to continue the kind of theme where in all these tutorials, everything I do doesn't require very many tools or anything. So if you do have tools, you can actually use the original snorkel that's provided. Instead of having to add this and the piping, you could just skip all that by adding the snorkel, using a Dremel, which is a tool that, you know, costs more than the mask itself. If you already have a Dremel, you can use the Dremel, cut off a portion of that, and then attach it to the intake module. Intake module is just let me see here. It's a clip-on fan that you can get on eBay for like 20 bucks. You're supposed to clip it to your waist to provide like air if you work outside and it's hot. So we have that clipped to the straps here. And what I did was I put a layer of glue down around the fan opening, and then I used some of this stuff. This is heat shrink, marine grade heat shrink material to seal that part. Okay, and so that's the way you would be able to connect it to the original snorkel, making it modular so you could pull on and off. Basically this snorkel cut off here, connected to this fan, permanently connected to this fan, and you'd be able to pull it on and off whenever you need it. So that's the way to keep it modular if you only have one mask. And the way that I did this, let me just explain it to you now, let me turn that off. The way I did this was first, I clipped the fan to the strap here, and I pulled it as far back as possible. And then I took some of this stuff. This is regular CPAP tubing. In order to make this connection medical grade, so that you don't have to worry about inhaling an unnecessary amount of, you know, unknown chemicals, I integrated CPAP tubing. So what you would do is when you pull you attach a little clip here. You can see that. Yeah, there's a little clip here on that fan. You attach it to the strap up there and pull back so that you can get the amount or the distance that you would need. So then you would cut that off. Then how you would do it is you would take a piece of this heat shrink material, cut that, wrap it around here, and then wrap your portion of the CPAP material in the protruding length of the heat shrink. Then you would go about heat shrinking that. Now, originally, I thought you would need one of these, like a heat gun, but it turns out that it heats everything too quickly and too hot. So really, all you actually need, which continues the tradition of no tools necessary, is a regular household blow dryer. It heats it. You can control the heat, obviously, and the flow, and it heats it so you can control how much it's heating. Alright, so now that you would have a piece of CPAP tubing sticking out, you would then connect your intake module to another piece of the heat shrink material. And at this point, you'll notice that the heat shrink material is actually really rigid. So once you have this in place and you put them together, they'll kind of just sit on your table, you know, like that. So when you do the final heating around here, which is actually really delicate, so you're gonna have to take some time with that, with the hair dryer. And when you do the connection here, which I still had to reinforce with the tape, it's actually a lot easier because it's just kind of sitting up, you know, positioned with the both ends of the CPAP tubing in where they need to go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It would be a lot better easier if you just used the original, repurpose the original snorkel for this, so you'd only need one side of the heat shrink tubing, but that's up to you. The benefits of this, I probably wouldn't use it every day like I do with my regular Infinite N95, just because I have a decent lung capacity and I don't have any troubles breathing. But again, it's for people that might have trouble breathing through a filter material. And again, oh, actually, let me address this. So when you're having for your input module, obviously you need to filter the air, right? So all this is filter material. You can get any type of filter material. Some people use furnace filters. Some people, there's a variety of different ones on the market. But all I did is I wrapped it around all sides because you're not sure if there's air coming in through any here, and I used a rubber band to secure it down on both ends. Okay, so now you have an easy way to replace the filter, and that's pretty much it. So you notice that I tried to make this video in a completely different format than my usual tutorials, mainly because I feel like my videos have been too long and nobody really watches them all the way through. Also because I already finished this, I kind of didn't want to pull it apart and redo it, because for one, the glue that I used to reinforce the seal here is actually really kind of messy. You can use any super glue for that connection. I just used this stuff, which it sets in 30 seconds, so you can take your hands off of it and not have to prop it up for an extended period of time. But one note on the glue, make sure you give all of the connections, like everything here, the glue, everything, a good amount of time to fully cure. I'd say like give it 12 hours. Once it's all like built like this, before you start using it, give it like 12 hours for everything to fully cure, and then let it run on full. Let your fan run on full for a while, just to clear out any, you know, off-gassing that might have happened in the process. And speaking of gas, I have this little, I don't have very many ways to test the air quality, but here's a little carbon monoxide filter, or carbon monoxide tester. I wish you could see the screen. It says 0 parts per million. So I'm putting this right here, and if it would go any higher than 0, it would beep. Okay? But it's not beeping. So there's definitely no carbon monoxide coming in through the air intake. Okay? So the experience of wearing this is actually pretty nice. Yeah, there's no carbon monoxide coming in. It's actually pretty nice when you're wearing this, because it's got a nice breeze coming down your face, and breathing is almost zero. There's almost zero fatigue and resistance on your breathing. And that's it. So what else? Yeah, there's nothing much else I can go over on this. This is Infinite N95 version 4. I think this will be one of my last tutorials for a while, because I've been getting really behind on school. I've been having this really bad brain fog and existential crisis, so I think I'm going to take a break from these tutorials for a bit, maybe a couple weeks. And yeah, hopefully everybody stays safe. I know we're headed into the flu season, so definitely make sure you and your loved ones are well protected. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I will be coming back with some more good stuff. I have infinite n95 tutorial concepts all the way up to version 7, so that alongside a few other juicy tutorials. Yeah, please consider subscribing, sharing, and liking, and hopefully we all get out of this in one piece. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.